Welcome to Quilts, Vines, and Finger Lakes Wines 2015. I'm Sue from O Susanna's, for those of you that don't know me. And if you weren't able to get to the show this year, you missed a lot, but that's okay. We'll do this little video, and you can see a few of the quilts that we have hanging. We have about over 300 this year. They're all beautiful, of course. We love them, and like I said, put it on your calendar for next year so that you don't miss the show again. The quilt that I'm standing in front of is one of quite a few quilts that we have entered this year from men. So this is a male quilter that made this beauty. I think it's gorgeous. I love quilts that have points, and that one certainly does. A new addition this year is we now are offering wine tastings as part of the show. And since it's still a little early on Sunday morning, Atwater is not here yet, but Atwater Winery was here yesterday and offered tastings for their wines. They're located up on Route 414 in Burdett, and it's a nice addition. I'm not going to be sampling wine at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning, and quite a few other people won't either, so they'll be here shortly, and that's a nice little addition that we have to the show this year. As you can see, lots of beautiful quilts. This one is all done with hand-dyed fabrics, and it certainly gives it a very unique look when you use hand dyes. This quilt, many of you I'm sure are well aware of the row by row experience, and this quilt is done by Carrie Smith and is my O Susanna's row by row winner for 2015. This is our row on the bottom. Carrie put a lot of thought into her quilt. Each row from each shop would of course have a different background, but Carrie bought one fabric that she used as a background and really made her quilt very cohesive, and all the rows then work together. And so often with a quilt, it's the fabric that makes the quilt, and this certainly in this case, this is a fabric line called Farmhouse, and it's designed by Felicity Miller. Felicity lives fairly local, and I just think it's a beautiful fabric collection. Simple quilt, but powerful because of the fabrics. And as I say, nothing beats an applique quilt. This one is absolutely beautiful. It's called Rhapsody in Bloom. And we have quite a few hand-quilted quilts in the show this year, which is always nice. We don't see a lot of hand-quilted quilts anymore, so it is a real treat to see something as beautiful as this hand-appliqued and hand-quilted quilt. This is a 25th anniversary quilt. It was done to commemorate the guilds. It was designed by Joan Thorpe, one of the guild members. Very beautiful, beautiful quilt. Simple, but beautiful. And something that we're seeing more and more is a lot of specialized long arm quilting, and this one certainly shows beautiful long arm work. You can't compare a long arm quilt to a hand quilted quilt, in my opinion. They're two different beasts, but absolutely beautiful, beautiful quilting on Doreen's quilt. And this is a very unique applique quilt, and again, another quilt that was hand quilted. It's called the First Frost, and certainly the fabrics, they have a little bit of sparkle in them, so I don't like to be talking about snowfall in August, but it does remind me of a snowfall in the little cardinal down in the bottom. We love seeing the cardinals come wintertime. And another beautiful applique quilt. This is one of my personal favorites. I love this quilt. Every time I look at it, I see something just a little bit different. And all of us have scraps in our stash, and this is a stunning scrap quilt. Joyce just pulled out her blues with a touch of red, and I say just pulled out her blues, but they are beautiful together, and I love the design. I haven't seen a scrap quilt like that one before. And this blue and white quilt actually belongs to my mother. It was part of a mystery. We went away on retreat many years ago, and this was a result of the project that we did while we were on retreat. And something you're seeing more and more, and we have a modern quilt guild that's going to be forming at O Susanna's. Our first meeting is going to be Sunday in September. Be sure to check it out on our website for those of you that love the modern look. And people will ask me, well, what does it mean that it's a modern quilt? Well, you quite often see a lot of open space on a modern quilt so that you have the opportunity to really do some nice quilting. It shows off the quilting well. They can be very bold, graphic quilts. This is a wonderful example. This is actually done by the Ithaca Modern Quilt Guild, but a very, very pretty quilt. And another of my favorites because I love the points. So this is called Celtic Wave, all done in blue batiks. This quilt was done by Shirley Bettis, and there's a story behind Shirley. Long story short, I just met Shirley 2 weeks ago, but lo and behold, she worked with my ex-husband's aunt for 20 years, and I had never met Shirley before, and I didn't know she was a quilter. I love her fabric choices in this quilt. I love that she took the navy blue along with this wonderful strawberry pink color. I love her fabric selections here, and she's used some border prints, certainly to their advantage in this quilt. I think it's stunning, and it's also hand quilted. I'm a house fan, so Elizabeth's quilt with all the different houses I think is adorable. Very cute, whimsical, folky quilt. This is a quilt that was made by Joan Johnson. It was actually a kit that we had in the shop. I love the quilting on this quilt, and these Dresden plates were very easy to do because they're done with striped fabric. So it really is much easier than it looks because you're not piecing these sections, you're only piecing this. It's the way you place your template on your striped fabric that makes those.
I knew it by 300.
Oh, that could be.
I love this quilt. It's called Block's Basket Beauty. Lots of bees in there. Marcia made this quilt, and I saw Marcia yesterday at the show. I love her fabric selections. She always adds something to her quilts that really I would never do, but she just makes them pop. And with this quilt, it's her background fabric. It's looks like somebody took paint and splattered it over the fabric. I probably would have done a simple white fabric or off-white fabric in this, but Marcia always throws something in that surprises and really makes her quilts her own. The applique on this quilt is very unique. Often you see applique borders on a quilt, but it'll go all the way around the quilt. Flo chose to just do her appliques in opposite corners. Her applique work is beautiful. We may be able to get a close-up to be able to show you that the center of her flowers actually have old lace in them, so she really added something unique. John's quilt is actually a mystery that we did in the shop last year as part of Quilt Club. This quilt, when you were working on it, you had no idea what it was going to look like when it was completed. And I think everyone was very happy with the end result of their Quilter's Dessert quilt. Again, nobody wants to be thinking winter at this point, but I just think this flannel quilt by Brenda is just adorable with the little snowmen sleeping underneath the quilt. What child wouldn't love that one? And this is another entry by one of our male quilters. This is Ray's quilt. This one was not his first quilt. His first quilt was actually a king-size Lone Star. But he was a little hesitant to put it in the show, so he chose to put this one in, which is equally as pretty as his big one. He did all the fabric selection himself, so don't let anybody tell you a guy can't quilt. These quilts over here are all the quilts that we borrowed from Meg Hawkey, who is a designer for Crabapple Hill. My sister and sister-in-law and friend Karen were able to go out recently to Washington and have a 3-day retreat with Meg. So they were fortunate. I didn't get to go. I had a new granddaughter on the way, so I missed that one. But these are Meg's quilts. I had a lady in yesterday that has been working on this one and was ecstatic to actually see Meg's quilt. So she really got up close and personal with it to see how Meg did the stitching and to look at the quilting of it, because she's not quite done with hers yet. She's got a couple more blocks to do and then she'll be ready to quilt it. So this I think is a nice addition to the show, to have a designer's quilt here for everyone to see. I recently had a customer ask me if I sewed. I wasn't exactly sure how to respond to her. I thought she was kidding, but she was serious. And the reason is, well, the top that I have on today is made with some voile fabric that we have in the shop. And if you asked me if I made it, I'd tell you, no, I didn't. Kim made this top for me, and the top I wore yesterday, Kathy made for me. So this customer didn't think I ever sewed, but I do. I've been sewing for a long time. So this year, for the first time, I decided to let people know, but I sort of did it so no one knew it was me. I put in the 3 quilts that I made for my granddaughters. This one is Adelaide's Her Houses and Trees quilt, which she loves. And my new granddaughter, Nora, this is her quilt. The cute little stars, the pink elephants. I hope she likes it. And Elena's is further on in the show. So I do sew. Beautiful piecing, beautiful fabric selection in Shelkia's quilt. She does beautiful work. Yeah. Nice mariner's compass, done with Storm at Sea blocks. Beautiful quilt. Very traditional. Storm at Sea and mariner's compass, very traditional blocks. And isn't this too cute? This is Pam's jar block quilt, similar to an I Spy. the best thing about these quilts is the fabric search, but then that's the best thing about every quilt, is to find the right fabric. I've got to ask Pam about the story behind this quilt. The name of it is 45 and Life to Go. It's a pattern by Primitive Gatherings. I think she, again, did an excellent job with her fabric selections on this quilt. This quilt is, again, all hand appliqued, though it is machine quilted. Beautiful quilt. Carol worked on this for a year in a class where she made one block each month. Again, another stunning quilt. Simple star quilt, but I love the fabrics. Bright, happy, bold, pretty fabric selection. I want to make sure that you see this quilt's very unique. So often we see quilts that are just made with cottons. This quilt is done with silk. The background is silk, and the appliques are silk ties. I think it's a beautiful quilt. She's done hand feather work between the blocks, and each one of the appliques, she found a tie where she could pick that motif out, and she put it in the center of each one of the blocks. I think Eleanor did a stunning job on that quilt.
No, Mom had it too. She probably gave it away.
And as beautiful as the silk tie quilt was,
I got the wall thing.
this one is so simple, and it's one of my favorites. This quilt came from a child's drawing. This young girl's art teacher had this girl at the age, second grader, 7 years old. She had her do a drawing, which was only on a piece of paper that was about 7 inches square. She took the child's drawing and turned it into a quilt, which she will then give to her when she graduates from high school. So I think that's a wonderful idea. I've told my daughter to find me a drawing that each one. Adelaide is going into kindergarten, as my grandson is, so I think I will try to find one of their drawings and do the same thing for them. And I'm sure over the next 12 years we'll see in their drawings as well as in them, they'll not only get bigger, but the drawings will change too. So I think it's a great way to catch that memory of the kids. And my little granddaughter's quilt, this is Elena's quilt, Dresden Dolls. I did hand piece it, it's fun to do. Again, that one was fabric selection. Those dolls just worked perfectly for the Dresden plate. I think this is another very unique quilt. It's Sunburst Penny Rug. Donna did this. It took her quite a few months to do it. And typically with penny rugs, they are done out of wool. But Donna did this one out of cotton, and I love it. There's a total of 350 petals on this quilt. And we can't forget the kids. We have to keep quilting going, and these quilts are all made from children in the area. And as you can see, I think they've done a pretty nice job.
She's got her Garcia going on. Oh, another one? Yeah, she's continued it from yesterday.
So that's a brief view of Quilts, Vines, and Finger Lakes wines in 2015. I'm sorry you missed the show, but be looking for it again next year. More beautiful quilts and more fun. Thanks.